Before I start, I may have, if you allow me, I want to ask you two questions. The first question, can any one of you guess how many Islamic banks and Islamic financial institutions are there in the world right now? Just give me random answers.
Dinko. 10,000 plus.
Okay. Can anyone give another number? 500 plus.
500, 10,000. Okay.
Huge gap, huh? 10,000 is very ambitious, I hoped, but now they're around 1,000 between Islamic banks and Islamic financial institutions. Okay, the second question, can anyone guess how many of these were affected or went bankrupt during the 2008 financial crisis? Yeah, actually, yes. 0 Islamic bank were affected by the crisis of 2008. So we will talk a little bit about this in the beginning, just to show you how much this industry is strong and stable. Then we will link all of that to Islamic factoring. So as I was just mentioning, because of the 0 Islamic banks that went bankrupt in the financial crisis, the interest increased a lot in this, and everyone kept asking, okay, why is that? Why no one bank were affected in the financial crisis? So now I will not go very deep in these 6 points because most of the attendees here are bankers, so you know the causes of the crisis more than myself. But loans issued with interest and floating rates, this was one of the main reasons. The refinancing using the same collateral. People that were not being able to pay their loans, they just got another loans to pay back the loans. Issuing bonds backed by non-performing loans. The ones that were issued were backed by just bad debts and bad loans. So that was too risky. And then insurance made for these loans, which increased the risk more and more. And then unregulated lending without ethical standards. In theory, banks were lending people loans, and they knew that these people will not be able to pay back these loans. Margin selling, so you sell what you do not really own. And as Warren Buffett said, these were the financial weapons of mass destruction. And then we come to why did Islamic banks survive through the crisis. There is a lot of things that is not permissible to be done in Islamic finance. But on the other way, there was a lot of ways that was mentioning how you can overcome these, you can say, problems or situations. The Islamic law, there is a lot of accounting standards, and they are stated by an organization called IOFI, Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions. It's located in Bahrain. It's very international. So there is a lot of accounting and Sharia standards, almost 100 and something. 60 of them accounting, and the other half are Sharia standards. But let's talk now about 2 that's linked to the financial crisis, and at the same time are linked to factoring. So Islamic finance does not fund any debt. It funds assets, goods, and services. So all the financing made in Islamic finance is an asset-backed transaction, because there is something very popular in Islamic finance, that money is a tool. You don't trade in money, but you can trade using money. So if I give you, actually loans are not allowed in Islamic finance, so I cannot give you a loan and you just pay back this loan with me with an interest. So now we come with the conclusion that interest is not allowed in Islamic finance industry. And also, because of the debt obligations and so on, you cannot sell any debt. So actually what I just said is factoring. factoring, we are just having interest rates, and we are selling the invoices, which is a debt obligation from one entity to another. Before I talk a little bit into details, how we can overcome this, and we have like a product called Islamic Factoring Product, let me show you some numbers about this industry. Yeah. The potential of Islamic factoring by 2030 can reach almost $1 trillion US. As was mentioned in the first panel, the global factoring volume now is almost 4 trillion. So you can see how much of this can be through Islamic factoring, but this is not the case right now. You see here the number of 38.35 USD billion dollars. This is the amount of factoring in the Muslim countries, but not Islamic factoring, conventional factoring. And you will be really surprised about how much of this 38 billion is done by Islamic factoring. If I wanted to be accurate, the dot would be almost invisible. Yeah, almost zero. So peanuts. Only 147 million US dollars is made out of these 300 billion with Islamic factoring. Why is that? It's not because it's a bad product. It's not because it's not easy to do it. Okay, it's not easy, but at the same time, there is a way not to make it too complicated. But it just needs some new movers and education. And when we go, for example, with Michael for the BCR MENA every year, we just talk about it, and I participate in a panel session that we just need to educate people more about it, and so on. So how I was mentioning, like I was mentioning, there is a lot of financial formulas in Islamic finance. Because you can have many situations. You can have a situation that your client, he needs to manufacture the goods from scratch, or whatever he is doing, or the service. Or someone has money but doesn't have the know-how. Or other person know how he will obtain these goods but he does not have the money. Or someone, for example, who do have like 10, 20, 25% of the money and so on. So there is many situations that you can face. So that's why there are many, we call it Islamic contracts, Islamic finance contracts, where you can use. There is murabha, there is musharka, there is mudarba, there is ijara, there is really a lot. And there is wakala bil istithmar, which I will talk a lot about it, a little bit more about it. I don't want to get deep in each and every these kind of contracts, because then it will take the whole session.
That's why I asked them, oh my God, there's so many products. Yeah. So we can't possibly do all of them. So tell me which one is the one that is the best, or the one that would be used most. Yeah. So that was like the question, because I said, I have one shot. We don't have 100 to try it out. So,
and that was the main challenge, because the number that I showed a few minutes ago, which is the 147 million, this is small because they are using a kind of contract, which is, it's not bad, of course, there is no one best, but it's not really fitting into this industry. The factoring industry, it's being done in a way that, okay, it's a way of financing, but not like any other kind of financing. So the challenge that we chose only one of them that we believe it will fit most of the needs of the client. Either if he has part of the money, doesn't have the money at all, he just wants cash to either do the service, manufacture any kind of goods, buy the raw materials, then manufacture the goods, whatever, all of this is possible. But the challenge was that this kind of contract, it's not used right now by institutions that aim to do Islamic factoring. They only use another one, which fit, like, in general, this is the niche market. So you are choosing a niche in a niche. So does it make a lot of sense? So just because I think I consumed a lot of my time, After all of this, now we have our Islamic factoring product, which is ready to be set up on any organization that want to do Islamic factoring.
Thank you, Abdel.
Thank you so much.